reason that we have hunger is because we're tolerating it as a society. It's not a result of somebody's choices. We live in a society with a great amount of wealth, and we can have communities that are prospering. But the things that get in the way are, policies and systems that aren't working.
I would explain community philanthropy's theory of change as a shift away from capitalist practices rooted in white supremacy toward an experience that is rooted in reciprocity, justice, love, in community with our supporters as well as our team.
I agree. It's an extraction of greed, as Vivian says, capitalism, colonialism, and a replacement of those values with the centering of humanity and equity and love. It's the valuation of the integrity and well-being of our people above the financial outcomes in our work.
Our theory of change is a paradigm shift. It aims to decenter money in fundraising to center equity and love. It's a very intentional and also very mindful thought and practice as an individual for me, and also as a community with my colleagues and those at the Oregon Food Bank.
When we're centering money, when we're centering revenue and making that the core performance indicator that we're trying to build everything around, it totally pulls us off mission and away from the root causes that we're trying to solve.
We have this big dream to fundamentally change the way that we operate as fundraising professionals. And the theory of change is like the roadmap of how we're gonna get that work done.
Not only is it doable, but it also resulted in an outpouring of support from our community, that our community responded to this theory of change.
The theory of change for our community philanthropy team is how we raise resources in a way that is in alignment with our values and with our goal for the organization.
To me, it means more purposefully raising resources and placing them in areas that will make the most transformational change for our communities.
There's a sense of unity, the differences of identity. You are celebrated, what you can offer, your wisdom, your skills, your talent, your treasures. It's valued.
This chance to create a version of philanthropy that feels healing, that doesn't feel extractive, that honors the people that are doing the work and our partners in the work, our donors, our community members, in a more restorative way rather than extractive.
Having that collective power and that voice is in itself a symbol of the theory of change, because in other organizations, people don't feel empowered to do that.
I do think that we are intentional about what it is that we're doing here. And it's hard work, but that's actually where you get to see the greatest reward and progress. And I'm really glad that I'm part of a team and an organization that is up for that task. And in a lot of ways, they're leading.
For people who say, why are we doing this work? Somebody needs to modernize this field. Nonprofit management or nonprofit fundraising hasn't received the research and development it deserves. And so I'm pleased to step up to this work with the community philanthropy team at Oregon Food Bank.
Right now there's an exodus of professionals leaving the nonprofit fundraising space. By its own design, there are not a lot of fundraisers of color. I think there's only 10% of fundraisers are fundraisers of color. And what our theory of change does, it allows folks to show up to work authentically and know that we are breaking broken systems together.
It's not just storytelling. It's not just making sure that the voices of our staff are lifted up. It's not just also making sure the voices of our donors, our community is lifted up, but it's all the intentional steps it takes to get to our goal with equity. For instance, one of the things I really love and I've seen change over the past 2 years is the amount of diverse perspectives that we've been able to bring inside of our organizational world. That's through hiring staff of diverse backgrounds. That is through engaging with community leaders of diverse backgrounds. Instead of just saying, hey, there's a seat for you at the table, it is actually creating a table from the ground up with diversity, period.
Our colleagues in our community philanthropy department are staying longer, are more likely to get promoted and get more deeply into the work. And we are raising resources at a scale we have never imagined before. I have watched our community philanthropy team just blossom. There are amazing conversations that are happening. It is so values aligned. There is the sense that we are doing something revolutionary and that we are doing work that is completely in alignment with our commitment to equity and racial justice.
Our abundance philosophy says that we talk about our partners too. We don't just talk about ourselves. Sometimes we even encourage our donors to give directly to our partners because it's going to take all of us coming together to actually create this kind of change within our communities.
It really frees up our thinking that we're not in this scarcity mindset that we just have to be working for ourselves and our goals. Once you open up your thinking, open up your mind to think about the entire community, it feeds inspiration. It brings in authentic partnerships.
I feel as though there's so much conversation about that. It seems to be another one of those buzzy words of folks saying we want people to be authentic, we want authentic. Oregon Food Bank seems to actually have action behind that.
I really like the culture in the team and also the organization because I'm finding that working for corporate America has made me really defensive. And carrying the identities that I carry, being a queer, immigrant, single mother, I've learned how to toughen myself and to be able to market myself and to really just not to show people my vulnerable side.
What decentering money and centering love means, it means you show up as your true self with all of your strengths and flaws and vulnerabilities, and you are looking to say, I love this work, won't you love it too?
We are not skirting around the big topics. We're not skirting around these big issues. We are gonna name the true barriers to access to healthcare and housing and to equity and really address those inequities.
Oregon Food Bank has allowed me to show up to work authentically. And I think this is the first organization where I can stop and say, hey, that was a moment of harm that we need to address.
We're going to be honest and we're going to stand in our truth. We're going to speak it to power and not be afraid of fear of retaliation because we know that we're staying true to our values. And that means so much to me. It really means a lot when it comes from leadership within the organization.
Creating this staff bill of rights has been really essential to just creating a fundraising environment where we can retain staff, where people feel like they are cared for, and that fundraising historically is an environment of high turnover. Staff stay not very long because the pressures of raising funds are impossible at times, and the things that folks have to go through sometimes, the experiences they have while they're trying to do it, are not good.
And there's a history in fundraising of putting the result, putting the dollar, putting the goal ahead of your people. The moment when we came together as a department to develop an SOP for when donors cause harm, we have a standard operating procedure for this. It makes it an official document so that every member of our team knows that this kind of behavior is not okay, this kind of situation is not okay, and there's no outcome at OFB is worth putting yourself in that kind of situation.
Our team has been in that space of listening, learning, and courageously vanguarding for now 3 years, and embracing the idea that we really have to be the people that we've been waiting for. There is no 10 items on a checklist to transform your culture, your organization, and your fundraising program toward love and equity. It has to be a metamorphosis of self at the individual level, of team, of organization.
I think that's what really goes hand in hand with what we do here at OFB is sort of daring to imagine our profession where it doesn't perpetuate harm. And if we can do that within our organization, just imagine what we can do outside of OFB.
It reminds me that working in this profession can be sustainable. It reminds me that I can still engage in the areas of my work that bring me the most passion, that bring me the most joy. And it reminds me that I can do the most good for communities that need us the most.
Imagine your hardest day at work. You're coming in and you're still able to find moments of compassion and empathy and love from your colleagues. So even on those hardest days, I can't imagine being anywhere else.
When we're talking about love too, love isn't a woo-woo Disney sort of like swooning kind of love. It is work. It is love that is asking one another to be accountable, to grow, to learn, and to move together toward a more just society.
And I think that process of metamorphosis has been extended beyond just our team, that culturally I think we've been an influencer within Oregon Food Bank. Today, some of our own definitions and indicators of love have become organization-wide metrics for our 4-year strategic plan. And that is a beautiful and powerful and profound kind of change that our team has led.
Not following your values is a profound risk to your organization and to the people who work for your organization. To change an organization to center around racial justice, to center around equity, to center around love is a massive transformation. It is a worthwhile transformation. We are so much better at our work than we were, but it is hard. So like any change journey, it is a steep mountain to climb, and the air is beautiful up here. So please join us.
We've mentioned this before, that this is a journey that we're all going on, and this is a snapshot in time. We're going to continue to evolve. We're going to continue to deepen our analysis and our understanding. We're going to try new things. And so if we were to do this again in the future, the stories might change, our understanding might change.
You don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I think that some greater movement is where we will find liberation. That's why we're sharing, right? So there's something for us to learn. I'm excited for a love and equity-centric movement from which we will learn, and what that will look like for our profession and for philanthropy.
The theory of change means that it's going to be ever evolving. It's going to require expansion. The team, yourself, the organization, it's not easy work, but I would say it's worth it.